The Vikings are often remembered as fierce warriors, raiders, and seafarers who terrorized Europe during the early medieval period. However, their legacy is far more complex and enduring than mere conquest. In England, the Vikings left behind a rich cultural, social, and legal heritage that shaped the nation's development in profound ways. From trade and urban planning to language and law, the Vikings contributed significantly to English society. This article explores their lasting impact, with a special focus on their influence on legal practices and the jury system. The Viking legacy, more than raiders. The Viking Age, circa 793-1066, was marked by waves of Scandinavian exploration, settlement, and interaction with other cultures. In England, their influence was particularly strong in the Danelaw region, encompassing much of northern and eastern England that came under Viking control following treaties with Anglo-Saxon rulers. The Danelaw became a melting pot of Norse and Anglo-Saxon traditions, leaving an indelible mark on English culture. Language. Words we owe to the Vikings. One of the most visible legacies of the Vikings is their contribution to the English language. Many everyday words have Norse origins, including law, sky, window, egg, and knife. Place names, such as those ending in by meaning town or village, or thorp, meaning hamlet, are also Viking in origin. These linguistic contributions reflect how deeply Scandinavian settlers integrated into English life. Trade and urban development. The Vikings were skilled traders and merchants who established thriving towns and trade networks across England. Settlements like York, then known as Jorvik, became bustling centers of commerce under Viking rule. Their focus on trade helped lay the foundations for England's later economic development. Viking towns were also notable for their urban planning, including well-organized streets and marketplaces. These innovations influenced the growth of English cities long after the Viking Age ended. Law, a lasting contribution. Norse, legal concepts. The Vikings introduced several important legal concepts to England that shaped its legal system for centuries. One of their most significant contributions was the Thing, a local assembly where disputes were resolved, laws were pronounced, and community decisions were made. This participatory approach to governance influenced the development of local courts in England. The Danelaw region retained many Norse legal customs alongside Anglo-Saxon practices, creating a hybrid legal system. For example, outlawry, the Viking practice of declaring someone an outlaw banished from society and stripped of legal protection, was adopted into English law. Wergild, the Norse concept of wergild, or monetary compensation for injury or death, emphasized reparations over retribution. This principle influenced compensation laws in England. Juries, Viking panels known as kvedir, which consisted of community members tasked with establishing facts or deciding guilt, were precursors to the English jury system. The jury system. Why it was special in England. The jury system is one of England's most enduring legal innovations, but its roots can be traced back to influences like those from Viking practices. What made the jury system so special in England was its emphasis on involving ordinary citizens in justicer. Radical departure from systems dominated by monarchs or aristocrats. By the 12th century, under King Henry II's reforms, juries became central to English common law. Unlike earlier self-informing juries, where jurors relied on their own knowledge, modern juries listened to evidence presented in court before delivering verdicts. This shift toward impartiality ensured fairer trials. The jury system also served as a safeguard against tyranny by distributing power among citizens. Rather than concentrating it solely in royal or noble hands, it became a cornerstone of democracy and justice not only in England, but also in countries influenced by English common law. Governance, community participation. The Vikings emphasized community involvement in governance through assemblies like the Thing. This participatory model inspired similar practices in Anglo-Saxon England and later influenced local governance structures such as parish councils and borough assemblies. In addition, Viking settlements introduced systems where leaders were chosen based on merit or consensus rather than hereditary privilege, a concept that resonated with evolving ideas about governance in medieval England. Cultural integration, a lasting legacy. Despite their reputation as invaders, the Vikings integrated into English society remarkably well. They intermarried with locals, adopted Christianity, and contributed to cultural exchange between Scandinavia and Anglo-Saxon England. Their influence persisted long after they ceased to be a dominant force. Conclusion: what did the Vikings ever do for us? Far from being mere raiders, the Vikings left an enduring legacy that shaped many aspects of English life. Their contributions to language enriched our vocabulary. Their urban planning laid foundations for thriving cities. Their trade networks boosted economic growth. And their legal practices influenced one of England's most important institutions, the jury system. The Vikings brought ideas that emphasized community involvement, fairness, and reparations over retribution, values that resonate even today in modern legal systems. So next time you marvel at England's rich history or enjoy its democratic traditions, spare a thought for those Scandinavian settlers who helped lay the